Hi everyone, this is Michael with the Central Kansas Library System, and welcome to another 5-Minute Friday. Today we're going to be taking a quick look at the new State Library of Kansas website, and we're going to go through the process of how you can add or renew new patrons in the eCard application. Let's get started. The first thing we need to do is to get to the State Library website, and it doesn't use the old web address anymore. Instead, it's using a new web address, and that address is library.ks.gov. And if we go there, we get the homepage for the State Library of Kansas, and we need to go to the Librarians drop-down menu. And then from there, we go to the Kansas Library eCard. Here's the Kansas Library eCard homepage, and we're going to use the admin login for librarians. Each library in Kansas has their own individual admin login. If you don't know what your login is, there's a form down here that you can use to contact the state and ask them to send you your login credentials. If you're a CKLS library, you can also ask us here at CKLS and we can get those for you. But right now, let's go to the admin login for librarians. And for those of you who use Pathfinder, this is going to look very familiar because the state is now using Koha as their system to keep track of their eCard patrons. This is totally separate from Pathfinder. There's nothing that connects the two, but the way it works looks very similar. And so I'm going to log in with my saved username and password that I have over here. Now that I'm logged in, the homepage looks, again, similar to those of you who are used to using Pathfinder, although it's a bit simpler. On the left, we have some helpful links. There's a link to a digital instruction sheet that shows you how to do the eCards. And then beneath that, we have some promotional materials that you can print off, as well as a sheet of blank eCards. You can print off a copy of this and fill in their information for them, and that way they've got an actual physical card. Regardless of whether a patron comes to you for a new eCard or they just want to renew theirs, you want to do the same thing. You want to do a search for the patron's name, and this is because sometimes patrons think they need a new card, but they actually have one that's already created, and we want to avoid having duplicate cards for the same patrons in the system. And so I'm going to do a search. You notice that when you start searching by the patron's name, it does give you a drop-down menu. Because we're trying to avoid duplicates, I recommend that you just avoid that drop-down and just hit enter. And then now that we've hit enter, we've got the search, and we've got 36 entries that all have test in the name. And before you create a new card, you want to go through this and make sure that there's not any other cards that look like they are for this patron. So you want to check their name, and you also want to check their date of birth, because that's the best way to tell if someone is a duplicate. And if you do find someone that already has an account, all you need to do is look up the information and then renew their card. So right here, I've got Patron Test Z. I'm going to click on it. And over here on the right side, we can see that here is our registration date and our expiration date. If this expiration date is past or it's getting close, we're going to need to renew the patron. And so you would go to More and then click on Renew Patron. It gives you a pop-up message asking if you're sure. Click OK. And now we see the expiration date has been updated. When you renew a card, it's going to renew it for 3 full years. If you just need to look up the patron's information, we also see that right here. We've got the date of birth that the patron entered, and we've got their library card number. Now let's assume that we have done a search for our patron by name. We've checked the first and last names and the date of birth, and we can tell that there isn't an account for this patron. We're going to need to create a new one. So we can go to New Patron, and we want to create a patron under the eCard category. And then we just need to fill in the red required fields. Okay, I've gone ahead and I've added that information. But you may notice this patron does not have a middle name. So what do you do for the middle initial? Well, if your patron doesn't have a middle name, just enter a period for the middle initial. Now that we've got that information, we need to scroll down a bit on the page and fill in some other information. We also need to set a password for the patron. Their password is going to be the same as their date of birth, and you want to enter it as month, day, year. So for this example, February 12th, 1809, we would put 02. 121809. And of course, you have to confirm that again. Don't want to add any punctuation or symbols or anything like that. Make sure you tell the patron that this is the password that they're using. And once you've got all of that entered in, click on Save. Now that you've got that saved, your patron is going to also need the ID listed here in order to log in and use state library resources. And now that you've got this set up, your patron is ready to go. They can use the digital resources to their heart's content. If you run into any trouble while you're creating or renewing patron eCards, you can contact us here at Central Kansas Library System, or you can contact the state. And to get their information, you can just go to library.ks.gov and click on the About Us link, and you'll get their contact information. That's all I've got for you today. Hope you're having a great day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.